Over the past several days, I have been, like most Americans, witnessing what has taken place with the earthquake in Haiti. That is a catastrophe of magnanimous proportion. And I think, like most Americans, my heart goes out to the Haitian people with what they're facing and what they have to deal with. And I've asked myself, other than a contribution perhaps via text message and the incredible work that the Red Cross is putting together and preparing to do in Haiti, I asked the question, what else could I do? And then I noticed today that the FBI has issued a warning about scams. As a business ethics and fraud prevention speaker, one of the things that I speak about frequently is what takes place, the mind of a scammer, and how those scams can take place so quickly. Unfortunately, after 9/11, as soon as the disaster hit, pretty quickly, within the day, literally, there were websites that were being posted, and scammers were hot on the trail of taking advantage of the heartfelt generosity that people felt toward what had taken place, those that were victimized by this attack that had taken place, and it's really unfortunate. The same thing is true with Katrina. I think by last count there were some 4,600 scams that had been recognized and recorded. I wish I could say different, but the same is going to be true with Haiti. So in this video, what I want to do is I want to identify some things that you might need to become aware of, so that if you're considering a contribution or if you're considering some way of reaching out to the Haitian population, doing something that you know would be beneficial for those folks in this devastating circumstance that they find themselves in, perhaps at least you can do it and know that it's going to reach the people that you're trying to help. So there'll be a series of slides, and from time to time I will talk about some of the things that you see on the slide, but for right now, let's take a look at the first. Be careful of any unsolicited email that you receive or links that are provided through social networking sites. Now, I am a big fan of Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and the utilization of social networking, but scammers are as well. And in many cases, what the scammers will do is they will send a message as if it were perhaps from one of your friends, requesting help for the victims and giving a link or a way to make a contribution. I would really encourage you not to utilize those links or click on them. In many cases, people are phishing. They're trying to work through your desire to help to create ways to perhaps attach your identity either in these social networking sites or to capture the hearts and pocketbooks of your friends. If you are unfamiliar with the charity, then there is nothing wrong with asking for their name, asking for their address, and asking for any requests that they have to be put in writing to you. Keep in mind there are major charities that you can work through. That doesn't necessarily mean that everything should be funneled through those major charities, but certainly ones that you may be unfamiliar with, a little diligence and a little questioning can go a long way. A scammer for certain is not going to be able to provide you the information, generally speaking, that you would easily be able to get from a recognized charity. Now, it goes without saying that you would never, never, never give out personal financial information. That really makes no sense. One of the things that a scammer would typically be inclined to do is to reach out to, the way I would put it is grab your heart, so to speak, and to play upon that. But if they can get financial information, in many cases, what they are not looking for is an immediate contribution. Rather, they're looking to steal your identity. And perhaps the economic effect of that would be substantially greater than the minor contribution that perhaps they would attempt to scam you for. In many cases, scammers will use sound-like names or derivations of names. So be careful whenever you're making a contribution or you're considering making a contribution to an organization to really look at that organization and to find out, is it really the right name? Um, it's phenomenal the ingenuity that people will go through to create these scams, and in many cases they'll find that the easiest way to get a website up is to insert a dash, add an underline, or perhaps slightly switch the name just a bit so that they can piggyback on otherwise what is a legitimate charity doing the work that needs to be done. There's an organization called CharityNavigator.org. CharityNavigator.org. And that is an organization that does what I'm going to refer to as due diligence with charities. They look at the financial structure of the charity, the amount of contributions that actually go to the people that are needy, what the charity is set up for in the first place. So if you're contacted by a would-be charity who wants to help the Haitian people, so to speak, and it's not a scammer, it certainly is reasonable to go to charitynavigator.org and check out the charity, just to make sure, again, that you're doing your part to make sure that the money that you intend to go to the Haitian people, in fact, makes it to those who are in need. Here are two big do nots. Do not donate cash. Let me repeat. Do not donate cash. You never want to do that. And the other thing is be very, very careful about giving out your credit card either over the phone to a charitable telemarketer or online to a charity that you are unfamiliar with. It is certainly leaving yourself open to either A, having the money not go to the organization or the people who are in need, and secondarily putting yourself in harm's way with respect to identity theft to get involved either with cash donations or donations which involve the dispensing of your credit card to people or to organizations you are unfamiliar with. Now, the last tip on the FBI list goes like this. If you make a contribution to a charity of your choice to help the Haitian people or another charity that you might choose, and let's just say you make a $20 contribution. If the person on the other end of the line says to you, "We are so grateful for the $20 contribution, but is it possible for you to dig just a bit deeper? I mean, the need is so great." If you hear that, there's a good chance you're being scammed. Most charities are very thankful for the contributions that are made to their organization for the benefit of the people that they're focusing their attention and their help with. Rarely are they going to put you down or suggest greater contributions. I hope these tips have been helpful. I hope that you will consider digging deep and helping the Haitian people. This is a catastrophic event for that country. As a business ethics and fraud prevention speaker, let me share with you, be careful, be diligent, and be generous.